My name is Andrew Olivo. I go on Instagram by the Spanish Steed, also known as the Boricua Builder. I am from New York. I'm originally from the Bronx, New York. I'm loud and proud Puerto Rican kind of guy, and I moved upstate maybe a couple years after that when I was younger, and I've been from Poughkeepsie, moved here about 4 years ago, and I've been here ever since. I'm a local woodworker, local guitar builder kind of guy, and I'm just a creative at heart. I am an artist at heart. As a kid, I was always doing art. I was always working on like drawings and paintings and just sculpting, and I always wanted to work with my hands, and I found that sense of gratification to just like see the final result in front of you when everything is done. I just found that so aspirational, you know, or so like just so satisfying. And then I started playing music, and that was a whole new world of just being a nerd. So I played music. I started playing music about like a decade ago or so. Picked up bass, you know, really fell in love with it, and I just like, I used to get the, because I bought my bass online, and I used to get this like musician's friend booklet every single month, and it was like, you look through it and you're like, oh my god, that's beautiful, wow. And every month I would just look through it and I would just keep reading it like a book, you know. And I went from I was drawing like Carlos Santana and Jimi Hendrix and like Garfield, for Christ's sake, and I went from that to just starting to draw guitars, you know. And for me it was always just such a satisfying experience to see like all of the shapes that I can do and all of like the really cool like lines I can play with and the kind of characteristics like that and how they can speak for themselves essentially. And it just kept going. It just kept going after a while till I gathered the gall, and I was like, I'm gonna just build one. I'm gonna see what happens, get a bunch of parts online from like eBay or wherever before Reverb was a thing, and I would just put it together, and you know, voila, there was a freaking guitar, and I was like, holy cow, this is so cool. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. You know, and from that point on, I just kept digging into this rabbit hole, and I've loved it ever since. You know, I'm really an artist at heart that fell in love with using wood as a medium and using that variability that you have in wood, where you could literally like cut into a piece of wood and it looks different from like the piece of wood that you just cut into, but it's the same piece of wood. Like everything can speak for itself. I pretty much start with pencil paper in the center line. You know, from there my brain just takes off, and you know, I go from paper to MDF, which is just a variable of wood for templates and stuff, and then from MDF to the real deal, and I just stare at it and I keep carving at it until I'm satisfied. And you know, it's just all very free flowy, very still hands-on kind of drawing kind of thing. I don't really see myself ever changing from that, just because I love that process. I find that process to be so relaxing for me, you know, and I'm just a dinosaur, man. I'm a 25-year-old dinosaur. So you get the drawing, essentially, and you go from there. You know, you'll get something like that. And then from there, I'll get the drawing, and then I turn it into what's called a template. Templates in the guitar building world, everyone knows what a template is. They're pretty much synonymous with the Bible when it comes to guitar builders. You know, general shape, kind of everything from there. And then I'll take some wood and I'll turn it into a body blank. So you get the template, you kind of cut it to shape, you route it to smoothness or route it to continuity, essentially, and you get your wood, and then you carve it, you know? So you'll keep carving and carving and carving and carving until you get something like this. This is Marty. This is a 5-string Marty. This is going to be sent out to a really good buddy of mine, and he's going to do some R&D, he's going to do some flopping and flailing, and some throwing around, and some slapping of the bass, and yeah, it turns into pretty much something like this. So this is Marty number 2. This will be a bird's eye maple top with a rosewood center, and then a black walnut back. And I do all of the carving myself, all of the shaping and cutting and scrolling and all of that good stuff. I do it pretty much on my own in this shop with the collections of tools that I have. And voila, you have an instrument. Cyril will send me, you know, big old slabs of wood, pretty much like this. You know, he'll send me some big old slabs of like some curly maple, or some spalted maple even, or some curly walnut. So I've got another thing here of spalted maple for better perspective. You know, so I take this big old slab and I cut it down into body blanks, and I cut it down into neck blanks, and I'll cut it into guitar tops and guitar backs and headstock veneers and all that really cool jazz. And I start with that, and then I turn it into, you know, really beautiful pieces like this. Or like this. I don't know if you can see that all too well. And this is going to be a spalted maple top for a customer that I've got coming up. Yeah, so you'll get a really cool spalted maple top like this kind of guy here. Yeah, or get something, what I like is this kind of stuff. And this one Cyril sent me as a gift. He sent this to me because he felt so much in love with my Marty design that he thought this would look like extra awesome on a Marty design, which I'm so excited for. I actually have plans for this one already. This one's going to be a really